Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Prokon Know-How. My name is Jacobus Oberholster. I'm an AEC technical consultant with Micrographics, and I will be taking you through this short but I hope helpful clip. And this clip will delve into importing DWGs into Sumo and then what you can do with them from there on. All right, so without further ado, you're going to jump straight into AutoCAD. And what I've done here is I've created a 3D model of a portal frame. So of course, if you are well versed in the 3D AutoCAD space, then this of course is something that is very quick and easy to do. And especially just because it is a lot easier to draw in finer details or finer measurements in, or dimensions rather, in AutoCAD than what it is within Sumo. So this will serve as our skeleton model in Sumo. Right, so if I go to Sumo, just launch that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on import DWG. And what's very important is that you keep track of exactly the type or what units you drew in AutoCAD. Usually that is millimeters. So DWG units, this is probably the most important one. I'm happy with millimeters. Don't change the level setting, just leave that as none, more than not, unless you are confident of, well, not confident rather, but if you've drawn in floor plans or you're trying to put in floor plans, then it is useful to actually define your levels beforehand and then place each specific DWG on a set level. So this is your layers, and this is just what's used when pulling in the information. From AutoCAD, it defines new layers in the groups table, and we want a prefix to those to set them apart. So I'll just call these DWG. In terms of all of these other features or options, I'm happy with them as they are. I'm going to click OK. And you can see here that these axes speak to each other. So the AutoCAD axis or global axes and that of Sumo speak to each other. All right, so what you can do is in AutoCAD, if you know how, you can change your, well, basically the axes that you are drawing on. And then when you pull that into Sumo, it will be on the right or correct axes. All right, so for this one, I want to change this around a little bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to move that point with my grid snapping on. I'm going to snap it to there. And then using rotate, I'm also just going to rotate this model to face downwards. So I'm going to click there and that corner there. And then I'm going to change this face. And you can see there's a 90-degree. And there we go. All right, there's our skeleton model. So what we need to do next is we define our materials. So I'm going to go for S355JR. So structural, so my structural steel. And then I want a 30 MPa concrete, which will be my structural concrete. And then lastly, I'm going to add some bolts just for base plates later down the line. I'll call these HD bolts. All right, but all of that was not for nothing. So this is not just for just to this is not simply just to be a nice 3D representation. You can go to sections. So let's define our sections. So what I want is I want my 255. I want a 2 by 22. I'll call these my rafters. I want columns. I want my standard lipped purlins. And I'm happy with those for now. All right, so what I can do is I can select a collection of lines and I can convert those to beams. So if I select these again, I can do is I can filter out the lines. And I can change these to purlins. Then I want these guys here. So properly select those ones. I'll also convert those ones. And these ones will be my rafters. So again, just selecting all of them, filtering out the line, and change key. Okay, these are already in rafters, so that's fantastic. So I'm happy with those ones there. Then I want these guys to be my columns. Selecting those again, changing those to columns. And I want my goods on this side as well, but I'll define Z channels for the goods. So let's go to our Z channels. We'll call these our goods. All right. Select all of those. We believe that they would have been set to the goods already. All right, perfect. Okay, so I can switch now to my analytical model view just because that makes everything a heck of a lot simpler. So I'll go to my pad footing. Just want a slightly larger stub. Okay, actually don't need to do it like that. So what we can do is we can drop down to multiple. Go. And then I can select all of these bottom ones. There are my pad footings. And then I can add my base plates as well. It's interesting that these are turned around. Ah, you see, so the start and end is switched around. So that's going to be a bit of a pain when it comes to drawing in those base plates. So what we can do is we can just select our columns. Oh, we actually haven't converted them to columns. So let's do that rather. Let's convert these guys. Let's see if converting it to a column solves the issue. And it definitely should. Okay, of course you can filter by name if you'd like to as well. Put all of these to columns. And you can see there it solves that base plate issue. So I can actually just quickly turn off my line display, go to connections and drag. And there you see every single one of my columns have a base plate as well. So I click on that base plate, or just quickly going to filter. Oh dear. I think I placed more base plates than are healthy in a model. So let's just quickly see. There should be, oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I need to redefine that quickly. There we go there. Oh, don't do that again. There we go. And then there should be only 10. There we go. All right. So thickness I'm going to change to 10 mil. Material there should be S355. And my holding down bolts material is grade 8.8. And there's your portal frame model. That was extremely quick. Yeah, even with a few errors in between to solve. But as you can see, they're very, very cool when pulling in that or drawing in that DWG. It can really simplify your workflow and ensure just accurate member lengths and positioning as well. Considering these angles, lengths, purlin spacings, etc. Of course, all of that can be done in Sumo itself. You don't need AutoCAD for that. but AutoCAD can definitely simplify that process. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any other questions or anything else you'd like to see, please throw it in the comments below. Yeah, like and subscribe if this was helpful as well. And looking forward to seeing you in future videos.